it's coming home. Yo, what's going on, people? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I do hope you lot are all doing well today, and I really do hope that, dear friends, welcome back to Chelsea News, the daily series here, of course. Anyway, I want to talk about two things, a new story today, and I want to talk about Kai Havertz, Chelsea's wunderkid, just looking better and better and better. We knew this guy's a Rolls Royce of a footballer, but we just didn't know how he was going to fit in where. Chelsea saw an opportunity to buy such a highly rated superstar and just put him in and see what happens. And evidently we're seeing what happens. Another fantastic performance in the Euros for Germany as they bow out to England. And he's looking more and more and more important to the Blues, and I want to talk about how he fits in next season. Strap yourselves in, subscribe if you're new. Hey, only if you want to, mate. But if you do, hit the bell notifications icon, consider liking the video to help me out. And also, your daily reminder until I reach 10k to go check out Football Yannick, my other channel where I'm doing multiple videos a day regarding Euro 2020 transfer stories from around the world of football. The link is in the description or in the corner card. Do go check out Football Yannick if you want to. Right then, I want to start the video talking about Billy Gilmour, his importance, and what a loan could do for him. So I will be citing an article for this part of the video from Sky Sports, seeing what's being said about his proposed loan move to Norwich City, but I want to ask you guys what you think more. Purely because he's such a highly rated player who clearly doesn't have any problem playing at any level. And Chelsea are probably short that fourth midfielder, and he has been utilised by Thomas Tuchel. Can we guarantee him a starting spot in the Premier League? Well, a lot of fans would say yes. There's a lot of fans out there that actually prefer Billy Gilmour to Jorginho, and it would be interesting to see Gilmour partnering Kante moving forwards. But for the moment, of course, Jorginho and Kovacic are trusted elite players, as is, of course, world-class N'Golo Kante. But I really do want to reiterate how when Billy Gilmour's dropped into any situation, he excels and looks incredible. We've said it many times here before in Football Therapy, but I'm going to say it again. He's won Man of the Match for his Premier League debut, his Champions League debut, his FA Cup debut, and indeed his international debut for Scotland. He wins Man of the Match every single time. He's not fazed by any level of competition. So really, you got to feel bad for him. It's probably just his frame that's holding him back, what people think, or maybe his age as well. If he was like a slightly more stocky 21-year-old or like 23-year-old or something, he'd probably be dropped in. So you got to feel bad for him in that sense, but I'm kind of stuck in a weird place where I think, oh, he's so good. Why would you loan him out? He's so good, but then I think, oh, imagine he's still so young. Imagine the development for him playing for a footballing side like Norwich City, starting every game, playing every game, and just developing. Like, that would be so valuable for him just for one season. Anyway, let's drop into the Sky Sports article, see what's been said about him, and then I want to ask you guys what you think. Gilmour made 11 appearances for Chelsea last season and was handed his full Scotland debut in their Euro 2020 draw with England at Wembley. Norwich City, among a few clubs, are interested in signing the midfielder on loan. The Scotland midfielder has agreed to join the Canaries for the 2021-22 season and is expected to undergo a full medical following his quarantine later this week. Gilmour tested positive while at the Euros with Scotland and will end his 10-day isolation on Thursday. He starred on his full international debut against England on June, producing a Man of the Match performance in the goalless draw at Wembley. And of course, he couldn't play the final game, and Scotland looked notably worse. Chelsea are open to the idea of Gilmour going out on loan to play regularly next season, but they see his long-term future at Stamford Bridge. Yeah, and so do I. He's a baller. 20-year-old made 11 appearances for Chelsea last season, 5 of which came in the Premier League. Norwich have already signed a goalkeeper, Angus Gunn, and Kosovo winger, Milo Rashica, as they prepare for life back in the top flight. Norwich's return to the Premier League will begin with Liverpool visiting Carrow Road on the opening day of the season. Now, you can imagine if Billy Gilmour's in that midfield, they could beat Liverpool. He's beaten Liverpool before with a Man of the Match performance, remember, in the FA Cup. Right, so this particular article from Sky Sports then goes on a massive Graham Souness quote, which I have no real interest in reading out to you guys, but he is saying Souness is making the case for him staying at Chelsea and doing a Phil Foden, something that I've sort of referenced before. Not getting that much minutes at first, but playing with the team, playing under an elite super coach from Europe, and then becoming a really integral part of that squad. Absolutely. that could happen to Billy Gilmour. If he stays around Thomas Tuchel for longer, he's going to learn what he wants, probably force his way into the team. If Tuchel sees something that's happening on the training pitch that he thinks is genuinely better than what he's got, I'd imagine he'd put him in, and that could happen to Billy Gilmour. Think about it, we've got no reason to doubt the boy, like literally no reason to doubt him. Yes, Jorginho's good, and he's been excellent in the Euros. Kovacic as well, kind of, although Kovacic is such a good player at what he does, but like Frank Lampard said on the BBC punditry, he needs to be better on both boxes, and that's true. You know, you don't see him being well in the defensive box, and he's good at getting into the final third, the offensive box, in terms of dribbling in there. But you know, that final ball, that assist, that goal, it's not really there for Kovacic, and of course it isn't for Jorginho either. But Kovacic's job will be to play more advanced than Jorginho, of course. Look, man, if you followed me on Football Therapy over the last 2 years, you know I love Kovacic. I think he's dribbles like Eden Hazard, and I think he's an incredible player at retaining the ball. But in this side with a double six, you know, you need really progressive work from the two midfielders as well as defensive work. And although I'm happy to see Kovacic start any game because I think he's excellent, I also have to think of the development and evolution of players in the side, and Kovacic is like mid-late 20s now. I don't see him changing his game. But there's no disrespect to him, he's an excellent player. And ultimately, if Tuchel thinks it's, you know, he's good to start, then he has my blessing. Tuchel gets a free pass of anything because, you know, he won Chelsea the Champions League. Oh, there it is. Ding, ding, ding. Chelsea are, of course, ladies and gentlemen, the current champions of Europe. Top of the table, the best. So anyway, it's a difficult one regarding Billy Gilmour. To be honest, we had Jorginho and Kovacic making an excellent partnership for a while. That seemed to break down a little bit. And then we saw Billy Gilmour and Kante in a cup game, I think, that didn't look too great. And of course, that's the sort of pivot that I'm potentially suggesting at the moment. So who knows? I know nothing about football. Hey, I thought Gareth Southgate should take off Raheem Sterling and Harry Kane, and then they both scored, so why listen to me? Anyway, I want your opinion, friends, so comment down below, what do you think about Billy Gilmour? Because you can make a really strong case for him leaving on loan, of course, and of course staying as well. The Phil Foden effect, or the Mason Mount effect, going out on loan and playing every game. You decide. Right then, let's move on to the next part of the video. Not a story, but I do want to talk about Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz ended the season very strong for Chelsea in scoring in the Champions League final a lovely goal. Yes, Chelsea are the champions of Europe, beating Premier League champions Manchester City in the final. I just can't stop. I can't stop. But he continued that scintillating form on into his European campaign with Germany in a quite underwhelming Germany team that seemed to be not doing the business around him, though Kai Havertz continued to perform. I believe he got 2 goals and 2 assists in the first 3 games in the group stages. Of course, then playing Chelsea, he pretty much had a magnificent game, but no one was finishing. Like, he played through Timo Werner for on goal, who of course had his shot saved. He played through Thomas Müller with a beautiful ball for a 1-on-1. Absolutely should have scored Thomas Müller, robbed of yet another assist in that game. And Kai Havertz unleashed a beautiful shot whipped off his left boot. That Jordan Pickford made a fantastic save, denying him a goal. So offensively in that game, Kai Havertz was far and away better than any of his teammates. You know, talking about who else was on the pitch: Werner, Goretzka's quite attacking, Sane, Gnabry, Thomas Müller, who's an excellent player. Kai Havertz outshone them all by some distance. Now, I wanted to bring this up because Chelsea bought him as a sort of luxury player in many ways. They're like, oh, can he play a number 10? Or, you know, is he going to be a number 10 or a number 8? You know, Lampard tried him out on the wing, which he has played before prior to coming to Chelsea. Didn't really work, and ultimately he's looked the best kind of as a false 9, getting him near to goal. That's because of Chelsea's finishing problems, and he looks like an absolute baller. But he played as one of the outside forwards for Germany and looked great. What I wanted to talk about is, I personally am of the thought process that Chelsea really need a striker, and if we are, hopefully, to somehow bag Erling Haaland in a semi-miraculous deal, considering what it would take to bring him to Chelsea this summer, you have to keep Kai Havertz in the starting lineup. You just play him as one of those sort of inside 10s. For me, you can't drop him, and similarly, you can't drop Mason Mount. So the starting lineup would be Haaland, Havertz and Mount, which sounds like a ridiculously scintillating, you know, mixture. The 2 players in behind a Haaland or the new striker both combined for the Champions League winning goal, Mount feeding Havertz, of course, and then you've got an absolute gunman up top that will just convert, hopefully, loads and loads of chances created by those two guys, or created by wing-backs, or even the sixes. But where does this leave Timo Werner, who was top goal scorer, top assister for Chelsea last season? Maybe as like an impact player, but you've got Werner, Ziyech, Hudson-Odoi, and Pulisic. That's four really talented players that are good players that came to Chelsea to start for Chelsea. Well, Hudson-Odoi's come through the ranks, but you know what I mean? Those 4 players to miss out is pretty significant. So do you agree with me? Do you think Mason Mount and Kai Havertz are the untouchables behind a new striker and all those guys miss out? How do you feel about it? Like, express your thoughts about Pulisic and Ziyech and Werner and Hudson-Odoi. Because they're really talented casualties in terms of a starting lineup. You'd imagine eventually someone would go, maybe starting with Hakim Ziyech, who's such a talented player. It's such a shame, man. But hey, Champions of Europe, you gotta go with it. Comment down below, let me know your thoughts, feelings, and opinions, of course. I'll be down there reading them. If you've enjoyed the content, drop a like. Subscribe if you're new, friends, and please do go check out Football Yannick, because I'm uploading loads of content on there on the regs, and you might dig it, so consider checking it out. I'm out, friends, so enjoy the football. Peace.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought. Body bag the verse, outlined in chalk. In my life seen trouble, hustle on the double. Silence on the trigger like my pick got a muzzle. Yo, chick like to guzzle, bad boy stay in trouble. I only love this paper, sorry I don't. I laugh me, baby.